We got lots to say. We got lots to say. We're glad you're here and we hope you stay, 'cause we got lots to say. Yeah, we got lots to say. Now here's Bobby and Matt.
Hey, everybody. Tomorrow night's a draft, so we're definitely going to do some draft talk, but I want to go back to 2005. And why should we go back to the 2005 NFL draft? Well, that's when you were drafted, my friend.
That's right. Oh,
Against all odds.
Against all odds.
They were going to make Miracle 2, and it was going to be your draft story.
It is. It is Miracle 2. They're actually going to make a story right now. We're going to do a movie.
So 20 years later, the year Matt Cassel was drafted, and the year that Rodgers sat in the green room forever.
Yes.
That's mostly what I remember.
100%.
I guess that's all of what I remember, because I don't remember you.
Really? You weren't watching?
I really wasn't. No, yeah, I wasn't.
I say that all the time. The commentators came on when my name came up and they drafted me, and they're like, okay, we don't have really anything on this guy. He threw 32 passes. He backed up Carson Palmer and Matt Leinart, never had a start. So, yeah, congratulations, New England.
High ceiling guy, though. High ceiling guy.
High ceiling. Hard worker.
2005 was the year Aaron Rodgers slipped down to 24th overall. And that is the comparison when anybody doesn't get drafted. It's the comparison to Aaron Rodgers that day. It was also, again, the same year you were drafted. So question number one, what do you remember most about that whole week, like leading up to that draft? What comes to mind?
Right. There wasn't a lot of expectations for me in terms of where I was going to fall. There wasn't the anxiety of, am I going to fall into late first round or early second? Because I was just hoping that I'd get on a team, to be quite honest with you, as a free agent.
Did you think, okay, let's say it's the day before the draft, and I came up to you and I said, hey, what are the odds you get drafted at all?
Yeah, I'd say 5%.
Really?
I mean, I had workouts with teams, but every one of those teams was already communicating that they would like to bring me in as a free agent. So that was kind of understood that I would have an opportunity to get into a camp. Now, I will say this, the last day of the draft, which was a Sunday, the first phone call I woke up to was a 508 area code. I pick it up. It's Scott Pioli. Scott expresses their interest in me coming in as a free agent, which was exciting to say the least. But he also said, if we do draft a quarterback, we're going to take you late. The reality of that actually happening, I thought was more just him saying it than actually going to do it. So I did have that in the back of my mind, but then went down to my agent's offices later that day because he said it's all going to move really fast. So I got down there in like the late part of the 6th round, started taking phone calls from the Titans and the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Diego Chargers, all from a free agent standpoint. And then he came in and said, somebody's on the line for you. I thought it was probably another coach or somebody like that. And it was Coach Belichick welcoming me to the New England Patriots and said, we're going to take you next in the NFL draft. Congratulations. And I was like, I totally thought he was kidding. I didn't even know it was truly Bill Belichick calling me. They just got off their 3rd Super Bowl. It's pretty dope. And, you know, it was one of those surreal moments where it just all kind of came full circle. And that's why I went against all odds and all the naysayers, even the coaches that said, Matt, you should look for another profession. And I was like, this is awesome.
He's like Miracle 2. That's what we're doing here. When Rodgers was slipping in round 1, were you watching the draft then at all, or were you just in your own bubble waiting to see what happened later on?
I was definitely watching the draft at that point, and it was that uncomfortable setting, right? The cameras just kept showing him the frustration, and I think Alex Smith went number 1 overall to the 49ers, and there was that discussion between the two of them, and then it just started the snowball effect for him, but he went to the Green Bay Packers, and I just remember also him going there was still Brett Favre there. Like, they drafted a quarterback in the 1st round, and everybody was like, what are they doing? Why did they just take, little did we know, a few years later, he's going to step on the field and be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well, little do we know, too, the Jordan Love situation would present itself to what the Aaron Rodgers situation was.
Right.
When they're like, why are they drafting another quarterback when they have Aaron Rodgers by drafting Jordan Love?
Right.
And funny how, I mean, all of that. If Rodgers just would have ended up with the Vikings, it'd have been the greatest, most perfect Favrean cycle. Like, it's just history repeating itself fully. So when you go to the Patriots and they draft you, do you leave the next day? Like, how quick do you get on a flight to actually go to work?
It was within 1 or 2 days. I think that maybe it was the next day. to be honest with you. I went home, we had a barbecue, which was such a cool moment for me because I went back to my house and my family was there, my close family friends, my high school coaches, everybody was there, and we celebrated all together because they all had a piece in me getting to where I finally was, and just to celebrate the moment. And then the next day I jump on a flight and we go out to a rookie mini camp. So we literally hit the ground running, and there was different rules back then, not as restrictive in terms of a schedule, in terms of phase 1, phase 2. So we hit the ground running, full pads, rookie mini camp, rock and roll for 3 days, roll right into the vets showing up later on the next week.
I guess it's a little less intimidating to go to a rookie camp when it's all of your own instead of walking into a camp where it's also the adults, right?
100%. It was kind of like you're in high school and you go there and it's all the guys that were drafted, maybe some guys that were on practice squad last year come to help create bodies, but I remember even coaches out there with a bag acting like they're a defensive line. So you feel pretty good about it. Then all of a sudden reality strikes and the rest of the team comes out and you say, oh, this is a little different. Speed of the game's a little different.
Can you name the quarterback drafted one pick before you to the Kansas City Chiefs?
One pick before me to the Kansas City Chiefs. Who would that be? They went to the Kansas City Chiefs?
Quarterback.
No, not Tyler Thigpen.
He's from Tulsa.
Tulsa.
He went to Tulsa.
Couldn't tell you.
James Killian from Tulsa.
James Killian.
Went one pick before you to the Chiefs.
Man, they could have got me earlier.
Little do they know they would have got you later.
Yeah, they could have got me later.
They would have got you later.
Yeah, and they did.
2005, the number one song at this point, Mariah Carey, We Belong Together.
Love that song.
Do you know it?
Probably, if you played it for me.
We belong together. Does that do anything?
I just love listening to you sing.
Yeah. The first YouTube video was published on the same day as the NFL draft.
Wow.
First YouTube video ever, April 23rd, 2005. The highest paid quarterback at the time was Peyton Manning, $14 million per year.
Bam.
He had signed a 7-year, $98 million contract extension with the Colts, which included a $34.5 million signing bonus. And the number one...
How times have changed.
Yeah. And the number one movie was Star Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Wow.
You a Star Wars guy?
No.
I wish I were. No, I wish I were, because there's just limitless content.
Limitless content, and also I could totally see you at like one of those Star Wars deals where they come together and they dress up as Wookiees and their favorite characters.
Why would you say you could see me doing that?
Because, I mean, once you're committed, you're fully committed.
And that I'll take as a compliment, but it didn't feel complimentary at first when you said that.
No, it's definitely a compliment. Yeah. I would like to go there one time just to people watch. I think would be
I get enough of my people watching on TikTok. There's enough people watching.
There are some good people watching.
Have you seen the Kool-Aid Man trend on TikTok by any chance? So the Kool-Aid Man, the commercial and the cartoon that we know, his thing was he would bust through a wall and go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so bricks would go everywhere. Now there's a trend where kids will find wooden like picket fences and run through them. And then when they get to the other side, there's someone there with a phone recording, and they run through it's so funny. They run as hard as they can and lower their head and run through the wooden fence, and then they go, oh, yeah. It's so stupid, but it is my favorite TikTok trend in ages.
I love it. I mean, because I'm a big physical comedy guy, too. So anytime you kind of push the envelope, maybe not. I don't want to see anybody really get hurt, but I do like to watch people run through stuff and just do stupid things.
My wife and I were in bed. She was mostly asleep, and I'm watching the Kool-Aid Man trend, and I'm laughing so hard the bed is shaking. She's like, why are you laughing so hard? And I tried to explain it to her, and she was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, she did not feel my humor.
Really?
Yeah, didn't feel it at all.
See, I'm a big physical comedy. Like, anytime they show the clips where people slip on ice outside their house.
Oh, I can't do that anymore, though.
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's so good.
I'm not judging you. I've just fallen so many times now that it hurts me to watch other people fall. Hurt. And when you get older, the falls hurt worse.
Yes.
And longer.
True.
I mean, that's the injury part of getting older. It's not so much that it hurts worse. It doesn't heal as fast.
No, you're on the shelf for a while.
So if I fall on ice, if a 14-year-old does it, not that bad. If I do it, it's 2 months.
Yes, but you do feel for the old people that just completely lose it and then go down the stairs and stuff like that. But it is still somewhat funny.
Did you watch WrestleMania at all?
No.
I know you're not a big wrestling guy now. I didn't know if maybe.
I've been to. What was the one in Nashville that they had? SummerSlam?
That was SummerSlam.
I took the kids to that. That was epic. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, That was a match. He came in on a tractor.
Who did?
Brock Lesnar.
Oh, cool.
Drove a tractor up, was putting him on the, what's it called? The lift there. Full fight. I mean, it was awesome.
And that was in Titan Stadium, right?
Titan Stadium.
They did 2 nights WrestleMania, and it was in Vegas, and it was where the Raiders play, but 2 nights. They sold 130,000 tickets.
Oh, my gosh.
Sold out both nights. It was crazy.
That's bad.
I've signed up for a pickleball tournament.
Yes.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, everybody. Hot off the press.
I've signed up for a pickleball tournament. I've never played a pickleball tournament before, so I'm going to be baptized by fire, as in I will be playing a lot of people at once. I'm going to learn real quick how good I am.
Now, do you rotate through in the tournament, or you just actually sign yourself up, or you sign up with a partner?
So I'm playing singles.
Okay.
That's what I'm really excited about. I'm also playing doubles, but a friend of mine who are playing together, we were like, let's just play doubles and see what happens. But mostly, like, I'm focused on the singles game because I can control that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it works. I'm just going to show up. It's like 8 o'clock. You show up. I don't know if it's round robin. I don't know if it's like double elimination.
When is this?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. If I'm free, I'm coming.
You're
to
not
watch
coming.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
don't need to come.
heckle
You don't need
you.
to come. Why would you not just cheer? Why does it have to go straight to heckle? Why would you not just cheer?
Well, I'm going to heckle the person that you're playing against.
Yeah,
How about that?
that we can do. You can
Kinda
still
like
sign.
Happy
Hey,
Gilmore.
how often do you play pickleball at all?
I do play a little bit.
Let's go.
Well, you didn't say you wanted a partner.
I didn't partner. See,
I
hop in the
want to play
singles.
doubles. I don't want to play singles and really exert myself. I want to try to get up near the box and just like slam it or something.
With the draft coming up,
Mm-hmm.
do you still get pumped up about watching it?
To a certain degree. I think it's always fascinating because you have all these different characters every single year. All the prognosticators and everybody are like guessing, oh, well, this is my mock dress. But do you really know, other than maybe Cam Ward at the top? So I get excited, particularly in this year, when there's so much uncertainty in terms of the quarterback position, wide receiver position. I mean, it is a very heavy class in terms of the defensive front, particularly edge and interior. But where do they value those guys, and where are they going to go in the first round versus, say, a Shedeur Sanders, which is going to be a fascinating story all the way up to the first round to see where he potentially goes, or if he goes in the first round.
Why don't we do a top 10 mock draft?
Oh, gosh.
And we're just going to draft spots. Now, you can put the team beside them, but we'll see who does best, and we'll check back in next week.
Fair.
So let's say you draft Shedeur at, I'll just say 3.
Okay.
And let's say Shedeur is not drafted by the Giants at 3, but he is taken at 3 by somebody that trades up. You still get the point because you put him at 3.
Fair.
Okay. So you want to go first?
I think it's the easiest one, the Tennessee Titans.
You can do your whole top 10, and I'll do mine after you. Number 1.
Number 1 for the Tennessee Titans, I've got Cam Ward. I believe that they're committed to this kid, and that's going to happen. Cleveland, I believe Cleveland goes with Travis Hunter. They brought in Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco. They don't know what's going on with Watson, but at the same time, I think this guy is a special talent, and he'll add a lot of value to that wide receiver room, even though I do believe that he might be a better corner. I think he's going to come in. Giants, I think the Giants are going with Abdul Carter. I don't know how you pass up on him because they brought in Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. They have 2 veteran quarterbacks. Do they view Shedeur Sanders' skill set so much better than those 2 guys? I don't know. But
Abdul Carter, maybe, broken foot, a little undersized, still good.
Dude, I'm still good.
Okay,
Don't try to talk me out of that.
All right, I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just asking.
I mean, I think I watched that kid play last year. He is special. And he's also so versatile where he started out at linebacker at Penn State. He didn't move into the defensive end position till this year. That just shows what type of special talent he is. Do you remember in the bowl game?
Yeah, I played with one hand
arm
completely. Yeah, one complete wrapped up.
It was unbelievable. New England Patriots, I'm going with Will Campbell, even with his short arms. I like this kid. He's a 5-year starter, 4-year starter at LSU. Since the day he stepped on campus, he is a really solid left tackle, and they need help at the left tackle. Jacksonville's a tricky one for me, but I'm going to go with Mason Graham. I saw him play for Michigan last year. This guy is a beast in the interior part of the defense, and he'll add a lot of depth there. Raiders, I'm going to take a running back. First one off the board, Ashton Genty. I think that with Geno Smith already there, they've got some pieces, but they need a running game, and Pete Carroll and what he likes to do is he likes to control the time of possession with the run game, marry that. New York Jets, I'm going to go with, is it Mimbo?
Yeah, I'm on Mimbo.
Yeah, he's a stud. I think that they need some help there for the New York Jets. Their right tackle left, I think, this last offseason, got picked up by New England, so they're going to want to fill that spot. Carolina Panthers, I'm going with Jalen Walker from Georgia, edge. And then New Orleans, this is where I go. Like, do they take Shedeur? I'm going to go Shedeur Sanders to New Orleans at 10. How about that?
New Orleans, wait, at 9. You're at 9.
Am I at 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only do 9 picks? Who'd you have at 10?
10, I got Chicago.
Yeah.
And that will be, is it Michael Williams?
It's up to
Edge,
you.
Georgia.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
We only have we're only one off of each other the whole
Really?
10. Yeah. Yes. We're like, we don't know where they're going to go, and we were pretty much right on. I have Cam Moore at Tennessee. I can't see unless somebody offers a ton of everything to Tennessee. I can't see them trading out of Cam Ward. Travis Hunter at 2 with the Browns. I'd be curious to know if the Browns are going to end up grabbing a Kirk Cousins type player, or if they're going to let Pickett run it to kind of tank. Because if Pickett's your quarterback, you're kind of tanking the season.
And this guy was a first-round pick.
Kenny Pickett? Yeah, from Pittsburgh. I mean,
4 years
literally
ago. And just
went to Pittsburgh.
Slowly but surely worked his way out of that role. Started some games, got hurt. And
Mason Randolph ended up coming in starting that back part of that year. So I do have Travis Hunter going to the Browns, but I'm wondering what they're going to do at quarterback. Because if they do nothing else other than Pickett and Flacco, they're purposefully losing.
Yes.
Because they can't get a free agent quarterback, and Deshaun Watson will never play again. He'll never play again.
Not after a second Achilles
and with the owner saying we messed up by that contract.
I would say so.
You can't really let him play again once you admit. Abdul Carter, same Giants. He's awesome. I have Will Campbell, but here's the thing about Will Campbell going to the Patriots at 4. And I think Kevin probably likes that Will Campbell goes to the Patriots. I think you definitely need some protection for your quarterback. But at his pro day, his arms measured longer.
Yeah, I don't care.
No, I'm
just
just
stretched
saying.
him out.
Oh, yeah. And then the combine, you're saying? I'm not looking in the arms as much. I'm all about the film, watch the games, LSU. He was a stud.
He was a stud, but the narrative has been little arms, Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
But I would just like to say, as much as I've also participated in that narrative, that I did see that at his pro day, they remeasured him, and his arms were a little longer.
Sounds like a little home field advantage,
Probably
if you will,
so.
huh?
Yes, probably so.
That's why you go to your pro day.
Mason Graham was the most dominant defensive tackle I saw anywhere last year. Jacksonville, we're same there. Genty to the Raiders, and I have Genty to the Raiders as well at running back. The only change, and I'm not picking anybody but Genty, but I could see them drafting Shedeur as their pick. Let's say if the Pats end up taking Genty, I could see them jumping to Shedeur, but I could also see if that happens, New Orleans trading up because they're both. It's a race to Shedeur. Once Genty goes, it's a race to Shedeur.
For sure. That's where the magic might happen right there. With the trade outs, draft capital, this, that, and the other. Who's going to come up to get Shedeur?
Membu's awesome. I watched him play.
Yes.
When we talked to Missouri's head coach, Coach Drink, he was just raving about Membu. And that also is going to be a real program leader for him to get drafted so high. Carolina, anybody from Georgia is just awesome. They translate big time to the pros because they're basically playing the pros already. Shedeur at 9, and then I have Tyler Warren for the Bears at 10.
Tyler Warren, I like that.
Because Tyler Warren did everything in high school, first of all. He was a quarterback. Once he went to college with Penn State, he was a tight end. They built full offensive packages around him, but he also played a little quarterback. He is a tight end, but he also played receiver in a sense of, not in the same sense of the tight end went to Florida and now plays with just left the Saints.
He just left the Saints?
Yeah. Who am I thinking of here? Went to Florida.
Kevin, that's
Help me out.
Sorry.
Never mind. Doesn't matter.
He's not a route runner like the Travis Kelce's of the world.
Tyler Warren can do it all.
But he can do it all.
He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He can split out wide. He can also play tight end and block. So I have him going 10 to the Bears.
Love that.
So we're the same except for number 10. And we bet $10,000 on this.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Cash money.
Yes, sir.
Get your bag.
We're going to come back. Matt's friend, Matt Light, is going to be on with us. Pretty cool. Back in just 1 second.
We're rolling.
Okay. We're about to talk with Matt Light, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, first-team All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, Patriots All-2000s team, Patriots All-Dynasty team, Patriots Hall of Famer, 48th overall pick in the 2001 NFL Draft, your teammate. This is your buddy. which is super cool. You got him on. Give me a Matt Light story.
Matt Light's story. I mean, there's so many to choose from. I do remember one where we were out as the offensive line, and they invited the backup quarterback to go with them because Brady was too big time to go with us to like sushi or whatever. But they got this little bus, right? So we get on the bus. So we go to dinner, get back on, and we're headed back to wherever we were going, to the bar, and all of a sudden cops pull the bus over. And they go on the bus, and they're looking for Russ Hochstein, who was our backup guard and was kind of our swing guy. They come in, fully arrest him, take him off. Nobody knows what's going on. Light set the entire thing up. So we're sitting on this bus while Russ is getting interrogated. They're making him walk around. He's like, I'm not even driving. What is going on? Like the full-on DUI test, follow my finger, Light in the face, just harassing the hell out of him. And then finally they're like, well, Light, we know Light. He's just busting balls.
That's funny.
That's the type of guy, but he's also the guy, like I said, that would change out. Dante Skarneckian had a pointer that he'd always use, and he changed that out, and it was the zapper. So it would zap the shit out of him in the meeting room while he's God damn it, Light, this, that, and the other. He did it to Belichick too. He changed out Belichick's mouse, but that backfired because Belichick knocked over his coffee. He's working on this document, went blank slate. Belichick was pissed, like pissed. He was in the doghouse for weeks. They had to come in, meet with him, all the different things. He might have even been fined. It's the funniest stuff ever.
How dominant was he as a tackle?
Incredibly dominant. You always felt great with him over there because he was so athletic. And that was the thing about left tackles. You have to be athletic to deal with guys, like he said, the Dwight Freeney's of the world and the Jason Taylors. And so he was also one of those really smart players that wanted to know, are we 3x1? Are we 2x2? Because when they would make their sets, he'd look for somebody firing off the edge. And he was just one of those players that would think about the game at a different level, which I think as well helped him be as dominant as he was.
Here he is, Matt Light.
Save that real quick.
Yep. And then we'll do the game, and we'll list. And then after the list, we'll close.
All right. Matty Light. This guy is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, perennial All-Pro. He is an ex-teammate of mine, one of my favorite people I've ever played with. He's in the Patriot Hall of Fame. Welcome to the show, Matt Light.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Applause.
Cass Dog, you're a beautiful man, and I just got to tell you, it's been too long since we've been able to make some great memories. I hope you are well, my friend, and you had a great Easter.
Oh, you know what? We had a fantastic Easter, just Easter egg hunting, doing all that. I know you were out shooting turkeys, weren't you, all weekend?
Yeah, we had our youth hunt in Rhode Island, and we had 10 incredible kids, and man, it was awesome. Got to be in the outdoors, beautiful weather for the first time all year here in New England. So, yeah, it was a great weekend.
Love that.
Hey, Matt, Bobby here. First time that I got to meet you. So nice to meet you, but I've heard a lot about you. Whenever Cassel and I first started doing this together, he was like, hey, I'm going out. I'm going to go with Matt Lights. We're going to shoot a bunch of stuff with some big guns. That's all he said. Like, that was my introduction to you, was him going, we're going to Lights. We're going to shoot a bunch of stuff with big guns. Like, what are you guys doing up there?
You know, so as you can probably guess, you have to be very careful when you go into the woods with Cassel. I mean, Matthew is very, he's good with all the safety stuff, but he gets a little sidetracked from time to time, and it's always an adventure when I'm with Cass Dog and we're in the outdoors and we're having fun. But I grew up in the outdoors and hunting, fishing, taking kids into the woods, doing things of that nature. That's just kind of always been my thing.
Yeah, that is your thing. I remember the first time I was out in New England, you were the one that took me hunting to, what'd we do, geese? And I almost hit you with a Canadian geese that was flying overhead. I shot it overhead. I probably shouldn't have. And it almost hit you going 30 miles an hour, headed down toward you. Pretty special.
And actually, what actually happened is that you shot a volley when they were about 3 times higher than when you could have killed them. So then when the next group came around, you waited until the very end, and you did hit one, which is kind of a miracle. And I remember you running out of the blind to avoid getting hit, but didn't say a word to me, which luckily I did not take that goose on the noggin. So I survived.
Hey, Matt, a question. So we've talked with Cassel here many times about what it was like going in when Brady goes down, but a different perspective would be yours. What do you remember about that?
Well, I mean, a lot. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, not only commands, the offense, but obviously just the comfort and the confidence that you have, when you have a guy like Tom Brady in the huddle. When that disappears, there's a lot of question marks. And I'll tell you, as a teammate, I'm not just going to say this to make him feel better, but that was a tough position for Cassel to be in. And Matt obviously had a heck of a season and stepped in and did an incredible job. And, I mean, I think if you look at it from the perspective of a backup quarterback, that's a really difficult thing to try to articulate what it's like to be in his shoes. And for me as an offensive lineman, I can tell you that everything changes, right? Like how the plays are being called at the line of scrimmage, the checks, all that kind of stuff. But man, it was an odd time, but the transition actually went a lot better than I think a lot of us expected. And we ended up having a hell of a season, even with that rotation.
You never said anything negative to me about it. You were just like, "Hey, Cassel, you got this." You were lying, huh? Is that the truth?
No, I mean, I was scared as hell for you. I figured that it was going to get really ugly really quick, to be honest with you.
So you won 3 Super Bowls. You participated in 5 Super Bowls. What's the most memorable of all those massive wins or losses from that Super Bowl runs?
I think the first one was such a whirlwind. It was my rookie season, and they had no idea who any of us were. I mean, not just because we didn't have our names on our backs, but because like literally no one knew who we were. And we weren't supposed to be there. It was 9/11. All the things that happened. I mean, our quarterback coach passed away during training camp. I mean, the adversities coming in as a rookie, and then on top of that, all the things that we experienced throughout that season. Obviously Drew Bledsoe going down. I mean, that one sticks out in my mind the most, and the impact that it had on my family. Right, my wife was pregnant. We're pregnant with our first kid. We're just fresh out of college, and I just remember gearing up for that run. We had the snow game against Oakland with the tuck rule, and I mean, there were just so many moments in that season where I thought, man, I can't believe this is actually happening. And then later in my career, I think one of the moments that really stands out for me is looking back on just after the first Super Bowl loss against the Giants. And I guess that was whatever that was, 08, 09, whatever, or no, yeah, somewhere in there.
2007.
And yeah, 2007. And I remember looking at Junior Seau in the locker room, and obviously we were all really upset about how that game ended. And just thinking, man, here's a guy who's meant so much to the NFL, and he's had such an incredible career, and to not have that moment for him, I felt worse for him than I did for myself. So, there are so many highs and lows when it comes to playing the game of football. And when you win a Super Bowl, obviously it's a wild time. But when you don't actually make it happen in the biggest moment of your career, I think there's things that you take away from that. And for me, it was just looking at some of these guys that I played with and just wishing for them that they had that moment.
The draft coming up this week, you were a second-round pick. Where did you think you would fall, and what was draft night like for you?
Well, the draft for me was interesting. I was at the Neon Cactus, which is a country bar uh, in West Lafayette, Indiana, at Purdue, and from what I remember, it was a pretty good moment. But I will say this, Bobby, it was the first time that I'd ever seen a draft in my life. So I had never even thought about playing in the NFL growing up, and for me, I thought I was going to be a forest ranger. I thought I'd be, riding a horse through the woods. And I got this opportunity, and, watching the draft for me was wild. it was an amazing experience. But I remember a buddy of mine came up to me right after I got picked, and the way I got picked, was kind of interesting. I get a call from Scott Pioli, the head of player personnel, and he's like, "Who you talking to?" And I didn't know that there was like, a little bit of gamesmanship. And when I told him who I was talking to, he's like, "All right, don't go back over and talk to them. We're gonna go ahead and draft you." And I'm like, "Great, awesome." And then when I see my name come across the screen, I was like, "Oh man, this is actually happening." And a buddy of mine comes running up to me and he's like, "Hey man, you know how much money the guy made for a signing bonus in the 48th overall pick?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." He's like, "Dude, that guy got like over $1 million. You're a millionaire." And I'm like, "Wow, that's amazing." I never thought about it, man. Like it never entered my mind. And I guess in some ways I'm thankful for that. I mean, I guess when you're ignorant, it can be an advantage at times. But man, it was a great experience. It was a great experience for my family, for me. And from then on, I learned a lot about the NFL in a very short period of time.
As a young guy coming into that locker room, it can be intimidating, but you're one of the best leaders I've ever been around. And you have this amazing ability to bring people together, and you always took pride in that. But in addition to that, you made it fun in an environment, as you well know, with Coach Belichick in New England, that can get a little bit stale. You feel the pressures consistently, but you always found ways to have fun, and some of these things are legendary, like the Bill Belichick with the mouse and the exchange. You got to talk about some of the things that you did, and how in the world did you come up with these things conceptually?
Well, I mean, I do get it honest. My great grandfather started a club in my hometown, and it's the longest running club in existence. It's over 100 years old now, and it's called the Liars Club. And so I grew up watching my dad and my uncles prepare and my cousins prepare for these meetings once a year where they would prank someone. Now, this is way before, all the stuff now that you see online, or, the punked or any of that kind of stuff, the jerky boys. Like, this goes way back, and it was a whole bunch of outdoors, and they got together and they would pull pranks. Like they would have, a sheriff arrest somebody as a peeping Tom, and then they bring him to the meeting, and he'd have to, answer to his crime, and then they'd induct him into the Liars Club through some crazy ritual. And so I guess for me, it's just always been something that, you don't prank people you don't like, right? So like whenever you're messing with somebody, it's because you actually appreciate them. Most people are like, "Dude, do these people hate you that you've messed with?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, I'll key someone's car. And that sounds a little terrible these days with this whole, yeah. Elon thing. But like, I'm not going to prank someone I don't appreciate or I don't love. And I always took that to heart. And I guess some of these moments, just came out of the fact that, as you know, we sit there in meetings all day long, and you're losing your mind, and you're just watching film and getting dog cussed by your coaches. And in the back of my mind, I'm trying to stay awake, and I'm like, all right, how can I have fun with this? And as you'll remember, Matt, one of my favorites was in training camp, having the guys hold the signs as the camera guy is zooming in on the shot clock, and we're going through a 2-minute operation. And what's great is there was a day at practice, after practice, we're watching film, and I'm like 9 years into the league, and I'm like, wait a minute. During training camp, it's the only time that they allow civilians to be in our world. And they zoom in on the shot clock, and a whole bunch of the spectators that come watch us, like killing ourselves and getting dog cussed by the coaches and sweating in 100-degree heat, they're all hanging out underneath this shot clock, and we can see them. So we'd always be looking for somebody weird. And I'm like, I could have any one of my friends do whatever I want, and we have to watch it. This is going to be the greatest day of my life. This will be the only time that I actually stay awake in meetings. So I had a guy come, and he had giant signs that said, like, when Gerard Mayo was playing, right? Like, "I love mayo on my buns," or "Tommy hit me in the slot, I'm open," like just crazy, ridiculous stuff. And he's wearing Daisy Dukes. Like I said, get your worst pair of jeans, cut them off, about nut height, and start doing high kicks and tie your shirt in a knot. And he did it to perfection. And I'll never forget Matt Patricia calling me, and he's dying, and he's like, "You're an idiot." He's like, "Coach Belichick is not even acknowledging it, and we're all dying watching this film. I love you." Click.
That's awesome. When you were in high school, did you play tackle or did you play all over offense and defense?
You know, I was always a bigger kid, right? Like I had to go to the high school to get my helmet, when I was in like Pee Wee football. I was always on the line, but I think for me, I mean, we didn't win many games in high school. I came from a very small school, and we weren't that great. But I was always like an outside linebacker, and I guess I was more recognized on the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball. But I was always on the line, and for whatever reason, Purdue drafted me. Purdue brought me in. They wanted me to play tight end until they figured out that I'm not a great athlete, so they moved me to the to left tackle.
Matt, you had some great battles with people over the years. Who's some of the guys that you went up against? Because when you play left tackle, you always saw the best. I know that there's stories out there, and you've expressed this to me, that you used to have nightmares against certain people, but who's the guy that you look across and go, I better bring my A game or this is not going to go well?
I mean, ultimately, and I don't know, I think this guy should pay me at some point for saying all these nice things because I feel like I could probably describe him as a player as good as anyone, given the number of times that I had to face him and the number of times that I had to sit there in the week leading up to that matchup and tell myself, like, just survive one more. Just survive one more. This guy is so freaking good. But Dwight Freeney and what he was able to do in Indianapolis for a very long time. And he had a good counterpart in Mathis. Those two were a heck of a 1-2 combination coming off the edge. But Dwight Freeney, I think, played the game at such a unique level. And I would go as far as to say this. If you're a defensive end in the National Football League, and if you have one move that you can consistently win with, and consistently is a relative term, right? It doesn't mean like, 2 out of every 5 you beat the guy, but I mean like when you watch film and you see him pull that move and he wins a time or two with it, that's consistently winning, right? Because if they're going to set you up for it, and good defensive ends, it's a chess match, right? I mean, because they're both getting paid, both guys, the left tackle and the defensive end. And so when you look at Dwight Freeney and you go with that mindset and you say, okay, look at the perennial Pro Bowlers, look at the Hall of Fame defensive ends or edge rushers, and what do they have in common? Well, they have one move that they consistently win with, and that can get you into the Hall of Fame. What I would say about Dwight Freeney is he had 3 of those moves, and that's really unique. He had a spin move that was second to none. He had a dip and rip, and he could skin the edge as good as it gets, right? And a speed to power, sorry. So speed to power, dip and rip, and his spin move. Any one of those could make you look really bad at any given moment. But I would also say this, especially early in my career in the AFC East, I had Aaron Schobel twice a year. There's a perennial Pro Bowler, for Buffalo. I had John Abraham with the Jets, who was a phenomenal player, had a little bit of a finesse game to him, but, could bring it when he wanted to. And then, of course, Jason Taylor, who was an absolute terror down in Miami for many, many years. So, I got I got an education every time I went up against those guys.
If someone did get by you, was there something you yelled?
Watch out.
Yeah, like what do you yell whenever it's like, uh-oh?
Bobby, I don't have to yell anything, but I promise you Tommy was yelling something either audibly or in his mind at some point. Because as we all know, or maybe the world doesn't. I mean, Tommy's not going to run out of sight in a week. I mean, he's not the most fleet of foot. We're not talking about Tommy Vick. We're talking about Tom Brady. And even saying that, right, the guy made us look really good. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he knew the pressure was coming. He had eyes in the back of his head, as my offensive line coach said. But yeah, I mean, when you make a mistake at any of those positions up front, I mean, your quarterback's going to let you know about it at some point.
But do you yell if he doesn't see and he did slip by you? Is there any like incoming? There was nothing, right? It was so quick it wouldn't matter.
No, listen, I mean, when I'm running around, it's like a flabalanche, right? I'm having a hard time just breathing. Okay. So, like, I'm not yelling anything. That's why I didn't talk trash. I would have liked to have talked a little trash, but I was breathing too hard. I was sucking wind the entire game.
That's fair. That's fair.
Now, you played for one of the best offensive line coaches, Dante Scarnecchian, but he was a badass. I remember him getting after you and the entire unit. Like, what was that relationship like? And was he always like that in your meeting rooms too?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I don't know how many times there have been stories where you go too deep into like the assistant coaches and what that world's like, right? We talk a lot about head coaches, we talk about player personnel people, but there's such a unique mixture of humans who occupy the entire staff and their personalities and what they bring to the table and really how they coach, how they lead, right? You think about the people who have impacted your life and how they did it and how they were able to motivate you. And here's Dante Scarnecchia. He's like 5'4". He weighs, I don't know, 100 pounds soaking wet. I mean, he was always working out. He'd be in a Swim-X. He had more fur on his body, that probably weighted him down than anything else. Hairy man. But what he did was he demanded that every single time that you stepped in the meeting room, every single time that you went out in the field, that you gave it everything that you had. I mean, he demanded that out of you. And what I really appreciated is that no one got a pass. It didn't matter if you were the first round draft pick or the guy they brought in off the street. He's going to coach you up hard from start to finish. And because of that, we were a tight unit. But I'm going to tell you, it wasn't easy. I mean, he would dog cuss you. I made up an entire booklet of his sayings, like ass eyes. I don't even know what that means, but I've heard people call that many a times. You're not worth hammered, like he had some of the greatest Dante-isms. Matter of fact, I made up the Dante Scarnecchia mother effing instructional video, and we played it during training camp as a like one of those infomercials where you could learn how to, dog cuss anyone, to the best of your abilities.
A lot's being made now about arm length. You're seeing it now with the draft. Do you know your arm length, and was that a factor, or did they even measure you when you were going into the draft?
I remember this. This was the measurement,
like
from your thumb to your pinky, and for whatever reason back then that was a big deal. And now we've elevated it to how long your arms are, right? And I don't know. I find it interesting. I guess maybe it's kind of like Moneyball or all these different metrics and how they're trying to evaluate people and come up with some other way to sound fancy. At the end of the day, I'd rather know how you use your arms versus how long they are, right? I think it'll probably die out within this calendar year, and we won't hear much about it anymore. But I think we should keep an eye on the guys that have the longest arms and see how well they do in the NFL this season.
That's exactly right. All right, what's the vibe like back there in New England? I know you're there in New England. You got a new sheriff in town, our old teammate, Papa Vrabes. Have you had any interaction with him since he's been there, and what's the vibe like?
Man, I can tell you that I think everybody's on pins and needles, right? I mean, we come off what was a crazy season, there for a lot of reasons, and now we have a guy that people they know who he is as a player. They understand that he did some amazing things down in Tennessee, and I think everybody's really optimistic about the impact that he's going to have on this organization. And I've been able to go back and forth with Mike a bit. Man, what a job he has ahead of him. And, I think if there's anyone, if somebody were to say to me, right when the last season ended, who's the one person you would bring in here? I would have said Mike Vrabel. And the reason, as you know, Matt, he's uniquely qualified to deal with pressure. And I've said this about Mike forever. I said Mike Vrabel is the last person in the world that you would ever want to get into a war of words with, because he'll eat you alive. Like he lives for the moment to prove you wrong. I mean, think about what that guy did as a player, right? Goes to Pittsburgh, gets sat on the bench. They're not utilizing him, works his tail off, does everything he can do. Belichick brings him in, and he becomes an instant, just leader in the locker room, a voice of reason, a guy that we all leaned on and had this amazing career. So he's fought his way everywhere he's been. And I mean, I played against him at Ohio State in college, right? And I didn't like playing against him then, and I wouldn't want to coach against him now. And I say this, I'll leave you with on this Vrabel topic, one of my favorite Mike Vrabel moments. We're doing a fundraiser for my foundation in my hometown in about 2004. Mike Vrabel comes, and it's a stag night. It's a whole bunch of guys. We're getting together. We're having a good time, raising money for the foundation. The mayor of my hometown gets up to read a proclamation. And if I would have known he was going to do this, I would have said, no way, you can't do this. And so he gets up and he's reading, basically saying, we're going to declare such and such day, Matt Light Day, right? And he gets to the word matriculate, and he stumbles over it horribly. And obviously, he didn't write this proclamation. Fast forward an hour and a half later, we're trying to raise money through an auction, and it's kind of stalling on one of our big items. Vrabes grabs the mic and he goes, hey, listen, we're here to raise money. He goes, I'll give anybody $1,000 right now if they can get the mayor of Greenville to spell matriculate. It was unbelievable. That's Mike Vrabel.
That he is unique in that sense that he's an intimidating figure, but like you said, if you get in a war of words with him, he's going to go right for your jugular and make you uncomfortable and hurt your feelings. That's just who he is. So he'll handle the pressure of New England without a doubt.
Two final questions for you, Matt, and I want to talk about the Light Foundation in just a second, because that's what Cassel was talking about when he was talking about shooting. He really was talking about like the good that you do. But before I get to that, how did you know when it was time to hang it up?
Man, it's interesting. I think we all come about it. Former players. I've talked to some of these guys that I played with, and guys that I've met in retirement, and we've kind of mulled this over, and it's interesting. I mean, there's guys that are lifers, right? That it's really difficult to step away from the game. And it doesn't matter if they're injured or they're feeling great. They always want to play the game. And then there's guys like myself. I had a lot of interest outside of it. I think, again, a part of it was the way I grew up and just being naive, I guess, to what the world, the NFL world was really like. And so I can tell you that after my 10th season, I said, okay, I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to have as much fun as I can possibly have from start to finish. And I did. And we went to the Super Bowl. We didn't win it. It was the 5th trip there in 11 years. And I just remember feeling, I mean, like, how blessed am I? How grateful, should I be for all the people that, worked their butt off to put me in a position to do the things that I've been able to do, and how great. And that was honestly the healthiest season I had in my entire career. I had 13 major surgeries throughout my playing career. And, that was the healthiest I was. I was able to walk away from the game. And for me, it really came down to, man, I got kids that are closer to being out of my home than in my home. And that was kind of the final thing that made it easy for me to say, okay, last season, let's have some fun and go out on top, I guess.
The Light Foundation, talk about that, because I know that's something that you've made a priority and something that even Cassel's bragged about. But tell me why you started it and what exactly you guys are doing.
Yeah, so we officially formed the Light Foundation in 2002. 2001 was my rookie season. As Dante Scarnecchia, my line coach, would say, Light, you don't know if the ball's pumped or stuffed. And I didn't. And then we go on to win a Super Bowl. And my grandmother was someone who, when everybody else kind of wanted to get rid of me in my family, she was like, I may be the only one loves you, but I love you. And, remember, to whom much is given, much is required. And And those words were ringing in my head. And I just said to my family, I said, hey, look, and I come from a family of educators. My mom taught music in a local school system for 35 years. My dad is just an amazing human and can teach anything and everything. And I said, if you guys would join alongside of me, I want to create a nonprofit where we can work with kids and teach them and the things that like made me a better person, even though I tried screwing that up as much as possible, and introduce them to the people who just blew my mind growing up and inspired me. And so we started that journey in 2002. And we do it all through the Light Foundation's Leadership Academy, where we host, kids from all over the country. We serve about 7,500 kids annually. It's outdoor-based programming, but it all falls under the idea that we need strong leaders and strong people that can make great decisions and inspire the people around them. And we've been doing that for a long time, Bobby. And I tell you, man, the people I've met through that world, and the people we continue to meet and the relationships that we form, whether it's a timber framing camp for kids or a football camp or a leadership camp, man, it's the best memories I've got.
MattLight72.com. We'll also put it in the notes here for the Light Foundation if you guys want more information.
Yeah, Matty, you're the best, man. And you're not only best teammate I've ever been around, but the impact that you're making outside is probably more rewarding than anything else.
Hey, brother, I love you and what you're doing. And obviously we had some of the best memories. I think it was an era in the NFL that I'm not sure we'll ever get back to, right? With social media and everybody want to do their own thing. I would just encourage people to remember this. If you're a football player, remember to take the time to do things with the people to the right and the left of you when you're sitting in that locker room. Put the cell phone down and make memories with those guys off the field the same way you do on the field. And man, you'll never regret it. Because as you know, man, we experienced a lot of those moments and they were special.
No doubt about it.
Matt, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for your time.
Matt, thank you, brother.
Yeah, buddy. Love you.
Love you.
That's awesome. If I'm in a bar fight, I need him with me.
Oh.
It is called name.
Don't pull your microphone when you talk. It makes a big noise. Not you. Whomever grabbed their mic.
That was me.
Okay. Here we go. All right, Kevin's got our game this week. Kevin, what do you have?
Going back to the 2005 draft here, I want you to name where this notable player, went to college when they were drafted.
Boom.
I'm not good at these. Okay, so
they're notable players, though.
Go Cassel first.
Okay. Matt, are you ready? We're going to do 5 again like we did last week.
Okay, let's rock and roll.
Okay, so we'll go through all 5 with Matt first here. Running back, Frank Gore.
Ooh, Frank Gore. Where did Frank Gore go?
Can we steal? Like, if I don't know it and he knows it, can he steal my point?
Yeah.
Miami.
Dang.
Oh, we got it.
Got
all
it.
right.
Good
1
job.
for 1 there,
Nice.
Matt.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Can I steal, please?
Okay. Linebacker, DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware. He wasn't. I kind of want to say Kansas State, but
I hope you say Kansas State.
I think I'm completely.
I'm begging you to say Kansas State.
I think that you're thinking is Arkansas because you get a glow to you.
No, I don't have a glow to me. I just know it because I know him.
Okay, you can steal this one then.
I know him because we did Dancing with the Stars together. And
that's
in my final dance, he left me above his head like I was a sack of potatoes. And he went to Troy, and he grew like 6 inches while in college.
Ding, ding, ding.
Nailed
Crazy
it.
story.
Stole it.
6
you.
inches?
Yeah.
He was a monster, by
It was
the
like
way.
Scottie Pippen at UCA before he went to the Bulls. Scottie Pippen grew an
Yeah.
inordinate amount, like 6-7 inches in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. But anyway, go ahead.
No, none of us did. Well,
Yeah,
Matt
yeah.
might have.
That's a big growth spurt.
Yes.
All right, Matt, here we go. Number 3, tight end Heath Miller.
ASU? Arizona State?
Final answer?
Yes.
Wrong.
Arizona.
Virginia.
I don't know. I didn't know who it was. I was just going that you barely missed it, but you way missed it. So you let
I
me know.
way missed
Yeah,
it.
you let me know.
I'm on the opposite side
I
of the
didn't
country.
know that one at all.
That was a little tougher one.
Yeah.
A little tougher one. All right, here we go. Linebacker Sean Merriman. 12th overall to the Chargers.
I know who he is as
Okay,
a football player. I mean, I don't know where he went to college. I mean, my gosh. Can I get a conference? Phoning a friend, can I get a conference?
Yeah, it's on a coast, or ACC, I should say.
ACC.
I think now, actually, realignment. Yeah, ACC.
Florida Atlantic.
Stanford?
No, Maryland.
Oh.
Oh, you said now. I was thinking it was going to be one of the big shifters.
Well, I probably shouldn't have said that because I got
'Cause
my
I
own
didn't
head.
know the answer.
Man,
Yeah.
This game's kicking my
Yeah,
butt.
well, me too. I suck at
Yeah.
this too. Give it. Hit
I got one
Okay,
more.
I think you'll get this one, Matt. Quarterback Jason Campbell.
Oh, he went to Auburn.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually
Boom.
played him. We played him in college. So,
Really?
yeah.
That's cool.
So I knew that.
All right, what's the score now?
Okay, he's got 2. You got 1, Bobby.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me up.
Okay, first one up. Running back Ronnie Brown,
Same.
which is
Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Yep.
I knew that one too.
okay. What about cornerback Adam Pac-Man Jones?
Cincinnati.
No,
Son of a gun.
West Virginia.
Ooh, West Virginia.
You didn't let him steal.
Oh,
No, it's okay. I wouldn't have got that anyway.
he didn't sound very confident in it.
I didn't sound very confident. Oh, let me steal. No, I'll just
He was
say
like,
it.
ooh, West
Ooh,
Virginia.
West Virginia.
All right.
All right.
Okay, all right. Wide receiver Braylon Edwards.
My only recollection of Braylon Edwards is with the Browns. So,
Steal?
Well, I'm not. Well, that's not my pick for college.
Well, that's
I'm
what
at
you
least going to throw something out there. Braylon Edwards. I'm just going to go to one of the factories. If I don't know, Florida.
Wrong.
Michigan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I had no clue. Good job.
All right. Matt with 3, Bobby with 2. 2 more players to go here. Linebacker Thomas Davis Jr. Played.
I have no idea. Thomas Davis Jr.
I'm not confident on this one either.
Florida.
No. Matt.
Don't even have a pick for you.
Yeah. Georgia.
Georgia.
That's a tough one, but I figured as SEC maybe.
Okay. I got to hit this to tie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Running back Darren Sproles.
Oh, Kansas State.
Boom. Okay.
3-3.
I got some bonuses here.
Let's
We
do a
need a bonus.
tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
We'll buzz in with our name.
Okay.
First one to get a point.
Okay. Number 1. Safety Antrell Roll.
Bobby.
Go.
Ohio State.
Wrong.
I'm just picking factories when I don't know. Because I don't know.
No idea.
Miami. University of Miami. The heyday of the early 2000s.
Give us another one.
All right. DN Justin Tuck.
Matt's got his hand like a
No,
buzzer.
no,
He just
no.
buzzed on his seat.
No. Yes, I got it. Buzz.
Go, say your name.
Notre Dame.
Yeah. Boom. He got it.
Yes.
No, you have to say your name, like Cassel.
Castle. Notre Dame.
He's hitting the buzzer in his
I'm hitting
chair.
the buzzer. I'm
Buzz,
like,
buzz,
but
buzz.
I'm like not confident enough. And I was like, wait, I'm just gonna keep tapping it.
That's good.
Like,
You
maybe
deserve
it'll
that.
delay it.
No, you
Nice job, Matt.
You deserve that. Before we go, I do want to hit you with my new list this week. My boy band list was such a hit.
You crushed.
Thank you.
Yes.
My new list this week is I've made a list of 7 NFL players if they were fast food menu items.
Fast food menu items.
That's
I like
correct.
this.
At number 7, Derrick Henry. He is the double quarter pounder with extra everything. No frills, just meat, strength, and violence.
Well said. Yes.
At number 6, Tyreek Hill. Hot wings from Popeyes. Fast, dangerous, one wrong move, and you're sweating from all the holes.
That works for me.
Number 5, Brock Purdy. He is the Wendy's $1 chicken sandwich. Now, you didn't expect much, but holy crap, did it meet all your expectations and more?
Oh, look at that. Playing to expectations.
And cheap. It's $1.
And
at the
cheap.
beginning.
$1.
Yeah,
It's not going to be cheap soon.
that's correct.
It's going off the $1 menu.
Next up, Josh Allen. The Five Guys bacon cheeseburger. Big, aggressive, probably going to leave a mess everywhere, but still worth it.
Solid.
Thank
I would
you.
eat that.
At number 3, Aaron Rodgers, the In-N-Out secret menu item. Now, you need to ask the guy behind the counter. You need to whisper. You need to chant something. Maybe burn some sage to get it. But it's either amazing or it gives you food poisoning and you die. It's one of the 2 options.
Animal style.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 2, Kirk Cousins. Kirk is the plain McDonald's cheeseburger. Safe. Familiar. You know, it's not going to win any awards, but somehow it's on the menu every year.
Every year, and they're just going to keep coming back for more.
At number 1, Patrick Mahomes. He is the Chick-fil-A Spicy Deluxe with waffle fries.
Ooh.
Flashy, elite, consistent. You don't even need to look at the menu. You just already know what the best thing is on there.
Well, that was
Thank you very
outstanding.
much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Fast food menu items for the NFL players.
I had some really bad ones. I didn't.
Did you?
Yeah, I got. When I do those, I have like 9 that are terrible and 1 that I just hope hits.
No Taco Bell on that menu.
No. Who would be a player that make you take it down? Just wait. I won't say that. All right. That's it. thank you guys. Thanks to Matt Light for coming on. You guys check him out, Light Foundation on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks to Matt Cassel. Thanks to Reed, who's got this episode and one more left. Is that it, Reed?
I think it is, yeah.
Then you're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Off to St. Louis.
Off to St. Louis, man.
With the wife who's going to be a doctor.
That's right.
We're going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you guys. I'll be back.
Maybe.
We'll miss you, Ray. We forget his name. We're already calling him the wrong
God.
name. Yeah.
We'll miss you, Ray.
Steven.
Kickoff Kevin, nice job. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And if you're watching this on YouTube, on one of the NFL feeds, or the Bobby Bone Show feed, if you don't mind, please go subscribe to Lots to Say. We'll see you next week, everybody. We've had lots to say. Bye, guys. Boom.